All right, a customer brought their Yardmachine MTD 22-inch snowblower in. Have you look at it at the 11th hour, because we're supposed to get like 4 to 6 inches of snow. So I started looking at it, and first thing I did is looked at the gas in the gas tank. They put gas in the gas tank, but it doesn't look that good. So pulled it over a couple times, it didn't do anything. I tried to spray some starting fluid in it. It didn't do anything. Of course, these are really hard to get to the carburetor intake. So I went ahead and I pulled the drain out of the float bowl, and nothing came out of it. So I decided to go ahead and pull the float bowl out. I'm getting a little dribble of gas now. Icky pooey nastiness. And the float is stuck up. So we're gonna have to pull the carburetor off on this one and clean it. So now the next step on this one is to take all these bolts off, up around everything, and get to the carburetor. All right, so I got the carburetor off the machine, and as you can see, the float bowl is stuck up because it's so gummed up. It's supposed to be down here. You can see the line where they left the gasoline on it. So let's see if we can get this thing apart. I've got my jar of gum cutter. Go ahead and put that in there. Go ahead and put all this stuff in there. Let it soak for a little bit. And let me go get another screwdriver. I'll be right back. So you can see the yellow and how it's, yeah, see, it's all nasty gasoline. So we're going to get inside there and get that jet out of inside there. It takes a screwdriver. Be sure you get a good screwdriver to get a good bite. Then we're going to unscrew this stop screw to get this jet out here. That one is what will cause them to surge if they're clogged up. So what I usually do is I usually look at this side and see how far they're through and count the threads out. And then we'll get this one out too. So let me get those out and I'll come back. All right, so I got this jet out, which is right here. As you can see, the screwdriver I have fits very nicely. After that comes out, then this emulsion tube comes out, which I know has got to be clogged. So into the cleaner they go. Then what I did with the other jet that was here, there's a stop screw here. I screwed it all the way in and counted. It was 4.5 turns, so I need to write that down someplace. So I have my Sharpie. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'll write it right here so I know 4.5 turns. So I got it written down over there on that block of wood. And then here's that other jet, and it looks kind of dirty, maybe clogged up in here. So in it goes. So now the next thing I'm going to do is try. I really don't want to peel this O-ring off, but I guess I'm going to have to. So there's the O-ring for the float. Going to get in here with some gum cutter and a wire brush and start getting this stuff out, because these float bowls are really rusting up real bad. Look how bad that is. That's nasty. All right, let me get some of this stuff cleaned up and we'll come back, and maybe I'll have the carburetor assembled. I don't know. It might be tomorrow before I come back. All right, so I've been working on cleaning the float bowl, and I've used a wire brush and a screwdriver, and I've scraped and scraped and scraped and used gum cutter. I think that is as good as that's going to get, so that should be good to go. The float, I had it in the gum cutter and I wiped it all off. It has come very clean. So let me show you my version of a sonic cleaner. There you go. Sonic. Pretty funny, huh? But I'll eventually have to buy a sonic cleaner and get this. So then usually what I do is I have a torch tip cleaning tool that I will run through all the jet. Now the one problem I am having with this carburetor that I've never had a problem with so far is this air bleed in this jet here is all clogged up, and I can't get my tip cleaning tool through it. And I don't want to leave this in my gum cutter mixture here because this has a plastic outer shell. So I think I'm going to set it upright and put gum cutter in. It's got a little brass insert and let that sit and soak. So still working on it. Scraped this all clean and blown this all out. Going to clean it again this hole here, clean it all down, blow some air through it, clean all the emulsion tubes and everything and the jets in my manual sonic cleaner here, and try to get this open. If I can't get this open, we might have to get another carburetor for this one. Alright, so actually it's like a day and a half later, and I left gum cutters sitting in this jet for like a day and a half trying to get it to open. I also put a little bit of PB Blaster in it because that will stay there. So this morning when I came and tried to run my tip cleaner through it, it still wouldn't go through. So what I ended up doing is I went over to the grinder and I grinded the tip down to a fine point like an arrow, and then I used it kind of as a drill bit, and I have got it open. So I don't know if you really can't see it, but now it is open. So we'll start reassembling the carburetor. This one here just pushes in there, and then the idle stop screw goes back in. And on this side, I'll reassemble everything. Put I still need to clean out the emulsion tubes in my manual sonic cleaner, and I'll start reassembling the carburetor. I don't think I'm going to film it because it goes together just the way it comes apart. Really simple. Let me get everything out and I'll show you. Alright, it's time to start reassembly. So I take my tip cleaner and this emulsion tube, and there are a bunch of small holes in this emulsion tube. I run the tip cleaner through every single one of the emulsion tubes, run it down the center, making sure it's clean. So now the emulsion tube will only go in one way. This is the up. So here's the carburetor here. It goes in just like that. That's in. Then you have your jet, which I've cleaned out also. That goes in, and it gets screwed in nice and tight. You got to be careful with this jet. You don't want to strip it out. So you want to get a screwdriver that fits it perfectly. They make screwdrivers for this. Okay, so the next thing to assemble is the needle and the seat. Now on this one here, the needle has got a little spring. The spring goes on here, and that's what keeps the needle. So you want to pull that down, and that's what keeps that tight on the float. So it goes like that. You get your needle, your spring, and then your other piece. That's how that sits. Now here's your carb. This goes in there like this. Then you have your rod that goes, your pivot rod that goes through there and sits there. And as you can see, pivot rod's in, floats free, moving up and down, blocking the gas flow. So that's all taken care of. Now this might be a problem. I'm going to try to reuse this original O-ring. Hopefully it didn't swell, which it does not look like it swelled. That's excellent. Now we have the float bowl. So now we have to figure out, let's see, the carburetor sat on the machine like this, so you want the drain facing out. So you want to put the drain facing out. Now the one thing I did not do yet, which I have to do still, is make sure that these are clean, because gas touches that and gas touches that. Actually, they were in the gum cutter mixture and they cleaned up quite nicely. So we'll go ahead, and the big one goes in the center. That gets screwed in. That needs to get tightened. I don't have the wrench here, I don't think. And then this one goes in here, and it needs to be tightened, and I don't have the wrench here. I'll tighten those up when I get over to put it on the machine. So now we have, oops, wrong one. We have this jet that I was having problems with. It has two flat spots. There's a flat spot there. It needs to go back in. I don't think I'm going to need any lubricant on this. I think it's got enough from the PB Blaster. So it sits there like this, and then you just push it in, and it went all the way in. Then you have this idle stop set screw. So what I did with this is I'm going to bring it all the way in, and I wrote down without 4.5 turns. So I'll bring that all the way until it stops. all the way until it stops. There's 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. That's sticking out about where it was. So I just need to tighten these up, get the right wrench. This is the choke rod that fell off on me, but this is the choke rod that fell off. I do believe it goes here, and it's that way. Not 100% sure. We'll find out when we take it over to the machine. So just need to tighten these two up and go reassemble it. I'll go ahead and put it on the machine. We'll see if it'll fire up. All right, we'll have to put it all back together, but make sure it runs. But I put this cover back on with these two bolts that hold, these two nuts hold the carburetor on. I put the choke, everything on. I already pulled it over 3 times. It did start right up. So let's see if it starts up again. Let's put it on run. It did originally, it took me 3 pulls to get it running. But they're up and running. I'll put the other covers back on it. We'll go try it out since we have a little bit of snow today. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. All right, we're going to go ahead and give it a little test drive and see what happens. So, choke off right now. There we go. There we go. Very good machine. Now come here and hold this one and come look at the alter. Well, they're spinning. Let's see, we're all the way full throttle. Let's try it over here. Well, you know, it's a little tiny 22-inch, you know, 179cc Yardmachine. It's definitely one for a hairy homeowner and not heavy snow like this. All right, everybody. Well, got it up and running for the customer. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Give me the thumbs up if you like the video.